What's up guys, so today I'm going to show you guys how I went from a 275 pound bench, my first legit 1 rep max on bench.
Go! Push it! Push! Get it!
To 8 months later hitting 385, 110 pound PR.
Fuck yeah!
In 8 months. Yeah, I don't know, we're just going to get all the way into it. I know what the first thing's gonna be, right? Everyone's gonna be like, all right, dude, around January, around the time that you actually hit your 385 pound bench, is around the time that you were, at the peak of your SARM cycle, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. I know people currently that have been on cycle or are currently on cycle. I know multiple people that haven't hit a 335 pound incline and that haven't hit a 385 pound bench. I think I'm just gonna give like one example. There are multiple examples, but I think one example is Brandon Harding.
385. Oh, come on! Like on a real note, haven't been on anything in like 2 months. The trick is be natural and you'll be stronger.
He might just have gotten a 385 pound bench or he failed in his max is 375. Obviously right now, like he's, off cycle, but this is the time that he's, been making all these PRs, right? Performance enhancing drugs don't always correlate to massive crazy gains in certain compound movements. I do have an ape index of +4, meaning my arms are like, I don't know, really long, so it's actually weird that I can bench a lot because my arms were shorter. Obviously that would put me at a better point for benching, but I think genetically I just have a really strong chest. So let's get into the do's and don'ts. Right when I started benching, obviously it was late April, I was at Atilis, I was with David and Dylan. Shout out to them. I think today they just released ThePowerEffect as well, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so basically I had just started benching. I didn't really know what to do. As you guys can see, like my fucking form was just all over the place during my 1 reps and especially just during all the reps of my beginning, just because I wasn't used to benching at all. All I did for the first 4 years of lifting, like I've said before, is dumbbell work for my chest. Now, I was trying to go like pretty heavy for reps, like I would do the 100-pound dumbbells on incline for like multiple sets of 15, do 100-pound on the flat press, but I never really got into barbell until April when I hung out with David and Dylan and got into like strength training and stuff. Right when I got home, Dylan gave me a program. I don't have it anymore. I would link it. If I do find it, I will link it in the description. It was just a bunch of numbers and everything. Like there was a point where he was like supposed to give me the percentages and everything, but I kind of just like figured everything out in my head or kind of just made up what I made up. And so I guess the first thing I would say to do is follow a program. That helped me tremendously. Basically, it just kept me motivated every single day. I wasn't really enjoying lifting up until that point. Like there was a point where I was just like, oh, what's the point of this? It's getting really boring and repetitive, and that's why I got like really into strength training and programming on top of that. It's just super motivating because you have to go in there and you have to hit those numbers. You have to hit that percentage, that RPE. Definitely number 1 is getting on a program. Number 2 is definitely get into a calorie surplus, get into a bulk. If you're trying to gain as much strength as you possibly can, or in the least amount of time, definitely increase your calories exponentially. Before I started like my huge bulk, I was probably eating like 3,000 calories a day, maybe 3,500, and I bumped it up to 5,000 to 7,000 calories, like literally every single night, pretty much on the daily. I would have, I think, a large Hawaiian pizza and a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream, like literally every single day for a couple months. I know that. My weight went from time around April when I hit my first max, I was in a cut and I think I weighed like 175 pounds to ending in January. I remember hitting 385 and I checked the scale and I was 208 that night. So
No. Here's the thing. Let's take a quick look back at that video, okay? You see that face? Have you ever seen a face fatter than that? Like rounder? Like, holy shit. I literally remember asking my mom, my fucking parents, hey, am I getting kind of fat? No, you're fine. It's okay. Like, we would definitely tell you if you're, getting too much, overweight, the dirty bulk's going too far. No one told me I was a fat fuck.
But it was definitely worth it. I enjoyed my time just because of how much fun I had with it in the gym. I probably, this past year of lifting has been probably my most enjoyable year of lifting. It was just extremely motivating to just go in and hit new numbers literally every single week and hit new PRs every single month. Tip number 2 is to get into a calorie surplus, and if you really want to go hard, do a fucking dirty bulk, because it can be worth it in some aspects. All right, so if you're a teenager, right, tip number 3, my main demographic is teenagers, right? Get at least 9 hours sleep if you can. Obviously, people are in high school and college and they have a fuck ton of work to do. But if you can get in at least 9 hours of sleep a day, I'd say that, like with the type of programming I was doing, I switched from, you know, Dylan's program the first, like, I think 2 months, and then I started, you know, developing my own with Blake. That's what I kind of ran through, like, the whole time that I gained all this strength. I was sleeping a lot. I literally, my life was sleeping, eating, and training, and I literally had no other responsibilities. I wasn't in school, I didn't have a job, I could sleep as long as I wanted to, but that's just kind of what was happening for me, and that's definitely something that helped me a lot to gain a lot of strength. So obviously, I was pretty lucky in my position to be able to do whatever the fuck I wanted to. Programming is for today is doing 5 sets of 2. Last week for my 4x4, I did 275. So I'm thinking I might do 315 for 5x2. We'll see. Proper training with, like, you know, proper specific training, following a program, eating a fuck ton of food, getting in, obviously, you know, your enough protein, and sleeping the right amount, at least 8 to 9 hours a night. It's just like, it's gonna do so much for you if you stay consistent with all those 3 and you just run it out for months and months and months and take that programming religiously. I don't know, like, I can't preach that enough. Like, it works if you just stick to it. It's worked for me, it's worked for my friend Blake, it's worked for my friend Leor, it's worked for my friend Tomas, it's worked for my friend Carson. Like, we've all had, like, amazing results taking this, like, fucking religiously. So that's what you have to do. Tip number 4, if you have a wider bench, specifically a fat pad, it just helps with stability a lot. Obviously, since it's like a wider, thicker bench, your shoulders aren't gonna hang over. I remember I was talking to someone that is like a powerlifting competitor, and I was like asking him a bunch of questions about my max, and he's like, yo dude, just remember that you hit it with a fat pad, which makes a huge difference, you know, rather than you hitting it with a normal bench. And that is definitely true. The fat pad helps a ton. All right, tip number 5 is leg movement. Now, I remember even back when I was doing dumbbells, my feet would be all over the place. I remember in the comment section of a bunch of my YouTube videos, I'd be like called happy feet and everything. And it's just so bad for you, because if you place your feet in the right position and you have proper leg drive through your hamstrings and glutes, combine that with, literally, you just won't be as strong if your feet are all over the place. Now, it is pretty cool if you can have like your feet up and have no leg drive and be able to do a lot of weight. Like, yeah, that's cool, that's impressive. But if you want to get the most out of your bench and press the most amount of weight, proper leg drive is necessary. I think the number 1 thing that I did wrong with my benching was bouncing that shit off my sternum. Like, that was like complete, like, there were literally, I think there was a time when I was trying to do 315 for as many reps as possible. I think I hit 315 for 8 at once. I don't know if it was this specific bench session, but I was going for a bunch of reps with 315, and I was just letting that thing fucking crush into my sternum. And I remember the next day, like, there was a little bruising, like visibly, and my fucking sternum was so sore. And obviously, like, that's not strength, that's you just bouncing that shit. Like, there's no strength involved in that. I mean, obviously, like, a little bit, but like most of the movement was me just bouncing off my chest. And if you do that enough, 1, you're gonna crack your sternum, and 2, it's just not the right way to do a movement. Focus on your negatives, you know, just as much as your positives, because, you know, you don't want to fucking crack your sternum, and you want proper form because you don't want to get injured. And that's another thing that I wish I had done more of, that I definitely have learned throughout my process and rehab and everything with my shoulder, is to do full range of motion. Like, I know I see so many people, including myself, back when, you know, I kind of just didn't realize that I had such shitty form, fucking half repping that shit. And it just, I think, obviously, like, you know, you're counting the reps, but like, is it a real rep? Is that movement correct? Is your body gonna be performing like it is in the future? No, my shoulder's fucked up right now, and benching is probably the number 1 thing that fucked it up. So that's basically all my tips, my do's and don'ts for, you know, increasing your bench press. For me, 110 pounds in 8 months. For you, could be less. It literally could be more. But all I'm saying is, if you're gonna go through with this and try to increase your strength, just fully commit to it. Just do all the things that are gonna benefit you, especially taking your training, your eating, and your sleeping religiously. That's it. I'm gonna end the video at that, And if you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like. I don't even normally say that. I'm just tired. It's literally 6:30. And I literally didn't do anything for New Year's, but I'm just exhausted because normally people aren't awake at this time. Like they are, but like they've gone to sleep and then they've woken. I'm just gonna stop talking. Peace.